Originally I was just gonna do travel videos and language videos. It gets boring. I don't know what to talk about anymore. I love channels that for like 6 years have always done the same thing and never get bored of it. I can't do that for the life of me. I get bored. Spoiler warning, there could be spoilers in this. If you haven't watched Death Note, proceed with caution. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but parts of the story. If that's okay with you, continue watching. On the web, I would just look for top 10 best animes in 2011 or 2010. The way that I had to watch anime back then, I didn't have fast internet at home, so I would have to go to a cafe where there's Wi-Fi, find the episodes on YouTube that were split up in parts, download those, and hope that they weren't in a different language or sub, and suddenly I had to read and I couldn't be doing something else as I was watching it, just episodes missing. One of the things that I would say was my first anime, kind of the anime that I was first like very much in love with, very much saved every single piece of fan art that I found online, very much was like, oh my god, this is not for kids, oh my god, was Death Note. I have a little keychain on my bag, made a Death Note for one of my videos. Death Note, right? How many episodes? 25? 37?
Big boobs.
The anime itself ran from 2006 to 2007. Kind of an old anime. I feel like it's also in the animation, it kind of looks old. I remember being very attracted to Light Yagami. I thought he was a really handsome anime boy. This came out in 2006. I watched it 4 years later when it was already a cult classic. It is mystery, psychological thriller, and thriller. There are 2 adaptations. There's a 2006 no, there's more than that. Come on. Death Note, the manga, so the comic version of it, but Japanese manga, ran from 2003 to 2006. In 2006 to 2007 it was the anime, so the animation, and then it was dubbed into English so even more people could watch it. They started making movies. The movies, in my humble opinion, are not that great. They're not all that. Yeah, even I don't like the Japanese ones either. There's the Death Note movie from Japan in 2006, Death Note 2, the last name, that's also 2006. There's a spin-off, L, Change the World, in 2008. Then in 2016, Japan made another one called Death Note, Light Up the New World. And then in 2017, we were graced with America's atrocity of Death Note for Netflix. Out of all of the aforementioned movie adaptations, the American one is the worst one. If you want to watch Death Note, watch the anime or the 2006 movie. Don't fucking watch the American version BS. They could have done it so well. They could have just reimagined it. They could have literally just said, what if Ryuk like popped the Death Note into America? And then new characters, new concepts. Death Note is about a very highly educated and seriously intelligent high schooler who finds a notebook on the floor with the words Death Note on it. And he's like, the fuck is that? Picks it up, he takes it home out of sheer curiosity. He starts reading through it and there's rules in it. The rules say if you write somebody's name in the Death Note, that person shall die. The high schooler, his name is Light Yagami. There is no way that this is true. This must be some kind of sick joke, as if somebody would die. As he is examining the notebook, he watches TV and he sees a live news reportage of a hostage situation. They flash the photo of the person who is holding people hostage and give the name, and he thinks, okay, let's test it. He writes down the name and he waits. Nothing happens. 40 seconds pass, nothing happens, and he's like, see, it was all a hoax. Suddenly, the hostages run out of the building and Light sits back and he's like, what? As the news report catches up and speaks about how the person who was holding the people hostage has collapsed from a heart attack. I get goosebumps. Light Yagami vows to use the Death Note only against hard criminals, terrible people, people who deserve to die. If you rape somebody, if you harm somebody, he vows to take down criminals and make the world a better place. The problem is, the Death Note is attached to a Shinigami. A Shinigami is a god of death. Shinigami, I think, literally just means god of death in Japanese. This guy's name is Ryuk. I adore him. He is great. He loves apples. Kind of becomes symbolism with Death Note, the anime. Throughout the series, you learn more and more that Light becomes less of this idealistic person of, I will create a better world, but it screws with him. The Death Note, the power, everything, it starts to screw with his mind, his perception. He starts to become a little bit more paranoid, but because he's still so hyper intelligent, he can foresee shit that happens. Not in a psychological, I can see the future way, but more in a, I can see where this is gonna go if I don't stop it kind of way. The police start to become suspicious as to why so many criminals are dying, and they want to stop it. They don't know exactly how they will stop it, but they know that they have to stop the serial killer from murdering inmates or accused people. Light Yagami develops a god complex and he says, I think in the very first episode, I will become the god of this new world. And there's this epic scene where there's lightning and it's very epic. I feel like it's a very, very good first episode and it sets it up perfectly as to what's to come. The internet has given Light Yagami, they have given this person a name, which is Kira, derived from the English word killer, but Japanese pronunciation Kira. People are starting to worship him. People are starting to send Kira messages on online forums asking them to kill this person, to kill this person, to harm this person, because of very petty little things. Light Yagami loves it, he enjoys it, he revels in it. He's like, yes, I am the god of this new world, hello. However, because he knows that the police are probably gonna come after him, he knows not to boast about it, he knows not to say, yes, I am Kira, you know, you cannot stop me. Because, very much, he is still human. He's not a Shinigami. He is a mere mortal with a Death Note. The police become involved, and it becomes this cat and mouse game between Light and the police, and more specifically a very specific person within the police. It's so good. I adore Death Note. The one thing that I can do is I can give you a little section of where outrage is about to be sparked. Okay, hot takes for Death Note. Misa Amane deserved better. Light Yagami was a terrible boyfriend to her, a terrible abuser, and he was the worst. Light Yagami's ideology is an ideology that a lot of people share but are too afraid to say until he becomes unhinged and starts killing innocent people. That one's a bit ugh. A lot more people would have been on L's side from the beginning if he was drawn in the way that Light Yagami was. A lot of people liked Light Yagami only because he was a handsome pretty boy. Myself included. What other hot takes are there? Matsuda was not a useless character. Matsuda brought a lot of heart and warmth to the series. The anime went downhill after episode 25. People say Light and L have homoerotic tension. I don't see any of that. I don't feel any of that. But if you want to ship it, that's okay with me. I just don't see it. Light Yagami used women only for personal gain and not because he actually liked any of them. That's not even a hot take, that's just straight fact. When was he ever nice to a woman? Mello and Nier were unnecessary characters. Chief Yagami was a fucking cop and therefore a cab. Chief Yagami was a fucking idiot for just blindly closing his eyes and saying, no, Light can't be Kira. L had a strange fixation with Light being Kira from the very beginning to a point where it was kind of unreasonable. Oh, one more hot take. The foot scene between Light and L was fucking weird and I still don't know what the purpose of it was. I remember watching it for the first time and just being so enthralled in the mindset, and I remember very much being on Team Light. Criminals don't get punished enough, that get accused of stuff are just let go because, I don't know, the system is flawed or because people don't believe the victim. I was very much on Kira's side until Kira, or rather Light Yagami, became unhinged. What I personally find very interesting is upon second viewing in 2020, a good 10 years later or 9 years later, I still had the exact same fucking thought. Very much in the first few episodes, I knew what was gonna happen. I knew that Light would become unhinged and start going after innocent people. I was still on his side. I was like, yeah, justice is nowhere to be found. Let's go. I was still on Kira's side until he became unhinged, until he started going after innocent people. I don't know what that says about me, but I found it very interesting that I very much agreed with my 15-year-old self. Crunchyroll, if you want to sponsor the next episode, please do. Would love that. Please. Should I have had like an idea or a general sense of where I want to take this video or this series if I make it into a series? Yeah. Was it fun to just kind of ramble on about Death Note? Yeah. That's right! I win! Oh, he's so dramatic.
This is my perfect victory!
Light Yagami is so dramatic, but you see, I love him for it. I really thought that I was gonna be able to make a 10-minute video on just anime in general, and instead I turned it into a, I don't know, however many minutes video on Death Note and my hot takes. So this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can stick around till when I make a new one. I hope you drink lots of water, get lots of sleep, and this is the end. Bye. Also like to give a big shout out to my Patreons. Thank you so much for supporting me. I love you guys. An even bigger shout out to Lemon Planter for supporting me throughout the years. Thank you so much. It means so much to me. Also, like, I hope you enjoy the Patreon content. If you'd like to support me on Patreon, link is in the description.